to my channel. This is my third video on data visualization. This is my final project that I will be submitting, which is based on correlation between malaria transmission, BCG vaccine, and COVID-19. As we all know, COVID-19 is a current pandemic as of 2020, and it has affected a lot of lives. It has not only affected economy but also other aspects of life. So one begs to differ, can we actually find a cure for this problem? And as we all know, recently in the news, as of 2020 in May, there have been very much interest shown in the usage of hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine. Many prominent leaders have said about that. There have been interest in the BCG vaccine treatment for COVID-19. So the question here to ask is there some fact in this claim or in this assumption? Is there actually some fact? Does this hold some water? So in my project, I will be creating a visualization tool which can debunk this myth or maybe actually solve this problem. We'll find out based on my visualization. So the data can always give you wonderful stories. And as our professor always said, data should be used to give stories. And so the data that I will be using today is first of all the BCG vaccine data. So this data has the country, and this has BCG immunization of each and every entry since the past 20 years. Now again, bear in mind this data is has a lot of incomplete values, so you have to do a lot of pre-processing, etc., etc. The next data that I will be using is death rates of malaria. This is to compare whether malaria death rates and uh, COVID-19 death rates have any correlation or not. As you can see, it is a standardized per 10,000 individuals. Consideration that I took was the deaths, the sex of both, the age, standardization, etc., etc., and again country per year. Finally, the dataset that I used is the novel coronavirus dataset. This is openly available dataset. This is openly available, and this gives in-depth detail of each and every cases, as you can see. So using this data, doing all the pre-processing, this is my final project. This will help us debunk this myth. Uh, as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward design, gets right to the point. So COVID-19 world map. This shows exactly how COVID-19 and how much it is spread. We all know it started off in China, now it has reached. So this specifically speaks of the death rate. So in China, the death rate is 4634. In USA, we know the death rate is too high. There is a meter to suggest. We can see India as well, my home country. Uh, but this is not interesting alone. So now we gotta look at the other two maps to make it more interesting. So this is the BCG vaccine map. These are the countries that have participated in BCG vaccines, and USA, Canada, and a few northern countries do not actually administer BCG vaccines, but other countries, well, around the equatorial belt do. And you can see these are the countries that have given BCG vaccine. And finally, we will see the malaria death rate. The malaria death rate map is all the countries that have been facing malaria. So as you can see, the northern countries do not actually have a malaria problem, but the countries, as you see, Guyana, African countries, India, these countries have problem of malaria. Now, what we actually have to understand and conclude from this is the fact that, as you can see, cases of malaria and cases of COVID-19, BCG vaccine, and cases of COVID-19. So we can see there is some truth to the myth that is spread that malaria vaccine does have impact on COVID. So we use this data, this visualization to finally understand, is there some truth? Yes, the data shows there is some truth. As you can see, pick up any country and you can see um, as yeah. And while it comes to the BCG, you see there is not really a big correlation. I mean, BCG was heavily used in China, yet it was the epicenter. So, I mean, there's no water to that claim. So, we have clearly debunked our two myths, and this is the project. These are my goals. Thank you everyone for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. You can personally email me as well. I'll write my email in the description. Thanks a lot.